obviously not in the Adirondacks today. I'm at the Montreal Science Center about to explore the Star Wars Identities exhibit. Let's go meet our guide Genevieve and check it out. So what is your connection here?
I was working on this project for more than 2 years, and I'm a museologist, so I was in charge of developing the content of the exhibition. So working with the scientific committee and with Lucasfilm, so what the messages of the exhibition are, what the objects are, so basically what are we talking about in this exhibition.
Cool, let's go check it out.
All right, so we're going to be going in right from here.
Okay, great.
This exhibition talks about 10 components of our identity, and just being human, for example, is already something that's very important for our identity, which we don't even think of very often. So you can use your bracelet right now, and I invite you to choose who you think is the most representative of your inner Star Wars hero.
Gonna go with Keldor.
Yeah, great. They've got a cool looking face.
Okay.
All right, so there you go. So your species is fixed. Okay. So our first step is done.
Cool.
So we can see here some of the artwork that's involved in making a movie. So in this case, we see this artist, that Ron Cobb, who started imagining some just very, very weird creatures, and he gave them very funny names as well. So we have an aquatic air breather, which is an amphibian type of species. We've got this weird guy who we see sipping a drink on the bar, and a hydrangea, which is like a mammal-like kind of animal. This is Panda Baba, and what often happens in the case of masks like this is that when they were created in the beginning of this, in the late 70s, beginning of 80s, they were made in materials that weren't made to last 30, 40, and 50 years, so a lot of them have just deteriorated.
I see we have Boba Fett right here.
Yeah, so here's one of this is a fan favorite. We also have right next to them, we have a Stormtrooper, and what's particularly interesting, and this is the first time these objects leave the Lucasfilm archives, is 3 original Stormtrooper helmets, one from each of the original movies. If you can see, I can give you some information just about the design of the exhibition. We tried to find a way that we could use lightsabers in our set design. So right now we have these kind of lightsaber elements that are used to show the speed of the pod racer. This is one of the most popular showcases of the exhibition, as you can imagine. So we have our 2 droids here, C-3PO and R2-D2. What's kind of interesting is that since the exhibition is about identity, for certain characters we kind of have their identity file on these digital touchscreens, so you can find out a little bit more about who R2-D2 is. Cool. So you might want to give it a try. So let's put it in English, because the exhibition is in French and in English. So we find out what kind of droid he is. So what do we see here? His friends. We have the list of people that he normally. So who are R2's friends? C-3PO, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Padme, Anakin, Han Solo, and Chewbacca. And why do you think we're talking about his friends? Because that helps define your identity, your friends. Exactly. So who we hang out with also has an impact, and it has an impact on us, and we impact them as well. Okay, so what do I do? So we're in the second section of the exhibition about genes and your genetic background. Okay, so do I place this here first? Yep, you can just start off. So, what gender are you? Male. Male? Are you sure? Yes. Yes? Okay. So, this is the species you had chosen. So you're a Keldor species, so you can choose what color skin you have. That one. And now this is an interesting question, is how strong is the Force with you? I'll go with medium. Medium, okay. So there you go. So we've saved your genetic makeup. In this section, we talk about our parents, and we talk about how we were raised. So this is an interesting question. You're visiting the exhibition with your dad, are you? Yes. So this is going to be an interesting test. So how old are you? I'm 11. 11. So let's say at 11 you decide to just leave home and say, ciao mom, ciao dad. How do they react? Probably that one. Oh no, you're not, probably, I guess. Is that what they'd say? Not exactly. They'd probably be more of like a worried, but everything else is more of like they don't care. Well, exactly. So you've got parents that do care, but they are also, they do have expectations, right? Oh yeah. Okay, so there you go. Okay. we asked you here, where did you grow up?
Cool.
So, which planet did you grow up on? So, did you grow up, for example, Coruscant is a big city planet. Does that resemble where you grew up, or did you grow up maybe on a more peaceful planet like Naboo? So, you have a lot of interesting questions to ask yourself here. So, we have a summary. You grew up on Endor, building space stations for despots, and celebrate nature at an Ewok feast when you have your holidays. So, there you go. So, we've saved your cultural background. Do you remember who this girl is?
Yes, we have Leia right here, right?
This is Princess Leia.
Princess Leia.
And do you remember what's happening in this scene?
Isn't she attempting to free Han Solo?
Yes, and she was actually captured as a slave by Jabba the Hutt.
Okay.
So what we're talking about here is how there's different cultures on different types of planets in the world of Star Wars. And on Tatooine, they actually have slavery, which is unique to that planet, but that doesn't exist on all of the planets in the Star Wars universe.
So here's Jabba the Hutt, but what are these things up here?
This is actually pretty cool. What do you think they are?
They look almost like eyeballs.
Yep. So these are Jabba the Hutt's original eyeballs from the huge puppet that they had created to make the movie.
That is really cool. So what's happening right here?
So what is the subject of this?
Who do you look up to?
Yep. So this is about mentors. I don't know. Do you have any mentors in your real life?
Probably my dad doing these things. I've always looked up to that. I like being on the camera and stuff, and he's the one who introduced that to me.
Very good. So that's an interesting comparison. What here we asked you is, if you were in Star Wars, who would you choose as a mentor? And there's some quotes here that help us identify the personality or what we're looking for. So what does Boba Fett say? What would he be if you were...
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Is that your style?
Probably not.
It's a hard question, isn't it?
I think Qui-Gon Jinn, I think.
So what does Qui-Gon represent?
Feel, don't think, use your instincts.
Oh, interesting. So there you go.
And I've always thought of him as he appears to be very wise and a very important character, even though he's only in one of the movies.
Yeah, I agree. He'd make a good mentor. So do you want to make your choice?
Yep.
Some of the models are big ones like this, and then for certain ships they would use the smaller models and then just distort the perspective in the movies.
Did they have multiple models of the same ship? Would they have multiple models?
They do. Actually, there's a model right here of the Millennium Falcon.
Cool.
And there's also a very big one that exists, so yes, sometimes they had two different sizes. What do you think this section's about?
What do you do?
What do you do? And why are we asking this question, do you think?
Because it does define your personality. What do you like to do, and what do you do to make you better at certain things?
Yeah, and it also talks about what kind of job you have. So do you have an idea what you want to be later on?
Kind of somebody like in front of a camera, like
somebody in front of a camera.
A reporter or something like that.
So something like what you're already doing right now?
Kind of, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I don't know if there's reporters in Star Wars. I'm sure there are. I didn't see any reporters in Star Wars. So what we want to know here, though, is what job would you have if you had grown up in Star Wars? What do you think?
Guess I'll go with Jedi for helping people and trying to do something good.
Very good. Perfect. What would you do if you met him walking down the street someday?
Probably freak out.
You'd freak out?
Probably.
What do you think he'd do to you if he got angry at one of the questions he asked you?
Probably like cut me in half or something.
Cut you in half?
Like something awful.
And you prefer staying a whole person, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. That's smart.
Or breathing, you could choke me with the force or something. I like breathing too.
You like breathing too?
Yeah.
That's good, smart. So what's really interesting is behind Darth Vader, we're going to ask you your final choice, and we're going to ask you which side of the force are you on. So are you ready to make that final choice?
Yes.
So who do we see over here?
The Emperor.
The Emperor. And this is where you got to decide, do you reject the Emperor's offer and stay on the good side, or do you join the Emperor and go onto the dark side? This is where we see where your real identity is.
I'll go with reject the offer.
Reject the offer? Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready to affront who your inner Star Wars hero is?
Yes.
Yes? You're prepared? Are you ready? species. Colton. There you go.
Wow.
Does that look like you're in our Star Wars hero?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Thanks for watching another edition of Exploring the Star Wars Identities exhibit at the Montreal Science Center. Hope to see you again real soon, and may the Force be with you. See you again real soon.